Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And today, unfortunately, Big Top Pee Wee review part 1 was supposed to be uploaded. It's actually 38 minutes long, and there's a second part as well, but the upload got aborted because someone called me and I wasn't at home to decline the call, so sorry about that not getting uploaded today. But today I am reviewing the first episode of The Walking Dead Season 10. It's called The Lines We Cross, or Lines We Cross, I can't remember which one. And basically, the whole episode is about these communities or whatever. It's kind of confusing. I didn't watch seasons 8 or 9, but I know the gist of what happened from hearing what other people said. And so you have these main communities, and then you have the Whisperers, and I knew about them from a lot earlier from people talking about that in the comics. And so they don't want to cross the borders to the I guess the Whisperers community, and so that's what the whole episode's about. And first off, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. The trailer was very bad, and that's surprising because usually, even though The Walking Dead may suck, the trailers are always good. Another thing, usually The Walking Dead season premiere is always the best episode of the season. So neither of those were correct for this year, unfortunately, which is kind of a shame since it's the 10th season, and so you're kind of starting off a little terribly here if you're thinking about it in terms of the whole series, because this episode it's just kind of average, but it's got some really good moments. In particular, there are a couple of zombie kills. There's one where a zombie's face, I think, gets sliced off with a sword, and then there's another one where that has to do with blood, and it has to do with cutting open a zombie's neck and the blood just spraying out and putting out a fire. And there are spoilers, by the way. I don't want you to watch this if you haven't seen the episode. And so basically, yeah, that's what this episode is. It's a lot of filler. And there was one scene that I hated to death, and that was the scene of Michonne coming in and overhearing this story. I like the idea that they don't have the right information, and that they're going to spread this myth that Rick is dead through generations and generations through this new story. And I like that idea. But then Michonne comes in and she basically makes an "I'm gonna die" speech. And if you don't know what an "I'm gonna die" speech is, it's basically when on a TV show a character makes a really profound speech, and then a couple episodes later they die, or they get severely injured. And it happened a lot on The Walking Dead, that's for sure. And like one particular instance in another show was Breaking Bad. There was a character, and there were these guys standing over him with guns, and he made this like speech where he was really honest, and he said these really deep things, and then you knew he's gonna die. And so it felt really forced, this whole speech where she was talking about, oh, you have to sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice, and if you don't know, she's gonna leave this season. And so that moment sucked. Okay. And then the whole Avengers thing that I talked about in the trailer, it wasn't that bad, actually. And it wasn't what I was expecting. It was just training day, that's what they call it. and they're just running on the beach and killing zombies to train. And I liked that. That was cool. I liked that scene. It wasn't that bad. It was just kind of okay. And then to the big point of the episode, the big moments. There is a Soviet satellite that crash lands on Earth, and they basically go to the crash site and fight the fire, even though it's in the Whisperer's territory. And this whole sequence I liked quite a bit because I thought it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting conflict, but ultimately it seems like it really wasn't a big deal, but it's leading up to something that'll be a big deal. They retrieve the communications technology from inside the satellite and take it back to the community, and so maybe that will lead somewhere. And then also they went into their territory. Something else is that the trailer showed a very key scene with Daryl and Carol. And they're a great duo, honestly. They're great together, and I'd like to see more of just them. Maybe an episode where they leave for one episode and it's just them traveling around together. That'd be really cool. But the scene in the trailer, it's a pretty funny scene, a pretty nice light scene, and they ruin it in the trailer, and so that sucks. And then the end of the episode, Carol is walking around and she sees Alpha, the leader of the Whisperers, and that was a great moment. That was actually probably the second best moment of the episode, and so that was cool. But overall, this season premiere was very boring at some points. A lot of other points I was kind of confused, which I can't really attribute to the episode because I haven't watched the past two seasons, so it's not fair to say that it's confusing without being subjective because I didn't see those other two seasons. So overall, I give this episode, a C+. It's not great, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just in the middle. And honestly, I expected a lot more. Because my favorite episode of the series is the season 7 premiere and then the season 5 premiere. So I always expect the premieres to be the best episodes, and so that was kind of disappointing. Oh yeah, and then there was also a guy, I guess he's gay, and he's a doctor, and he had some really cheesy dialogue, and then there was another cheesy dialogue scene, and those two scenes were stupid, and they were kind of frustrating to watch too. So overall, this episode had some great zombie kills. It had some pretty good moments, but it was just boring and average and not really up to the standard of something that I would watch for fun. And so I don't really recommend this season so far. We'll have to see where it goes from here. If it gets worse, which usually it does, episodes 2 through like 5 are like really bad, and then it picks up for the mid-season finale. And so, anyways, I hope this season is good because all the actors are great, and I'm sure that the writers, they're really talented, obviously from previous seasons, but they need to step it up. It's season 10, as Gordon Ramsay said in MasterChef season 10. It's season 10. So goodbye, everybody. Tomorrow I'll upload Big Top Pee Wee, and then the next day we'll see where it goes on from there.